Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Welcome to Pincore Communal, where we have well-known experts and scholars ready to guide you. Today, in this video, we will learn about Introduction to Cloud Computing. First, we'll have a look at the contents of today's video. First, we will know the difference between the on-premise model and cloud computing. Next, we will see what is cloud computing, followed by the deployment model and service model, which are the types of cloud computing, followed by the conclusion. When everyone think of scaling a business, a small team size, the unpredictability of demand and limited resources are the roadblocks for this expansion, and cloud computing is one-stop solution for this. But before confirming, we will know the difference between the on-premise model and cloud-based computing to make a better decision. When it comes to scalability, we have to pay more for an on-premise setup and get lesser options too. Once after scaling up, it is difficult to scale down and often leads to heavy losses in terms of infrastructure and maintenance cost. On the other hand, cloud computing allows us only to pay for how much we use, with much easier and faster provisions for scaling up and scaling down. Next, let's talk about server storage. On-premise system needs a lot of space for their servers, and they cannot withstand the power and maintenance hassle that come with them. On the other hand, cloud computing solutions are offered by cloud server providers who manage and maintain the servers, which in turn saves both money as well as the space. Next, we'll look at the next factor. We have data security. In on-premise system, it offers less data security, a complicated combination of traditional IT security measures, whereas cloud computing system offers much better security, and also it avoids having constantly monitoring and manage security protocols. In an event, if data loss occurs, the chance of data recovery in case of on-premise are very small, but in contrast, cloud computing systems have robust and disaster recovery, which will ensure faster and easier data recovery. Finally, the next factor is maintenance. On-premise systems require additional teams for hardware and software maintenance, loading up the cost by a considerable degree. Whereas, cloud computing systems are maintained by the cloud service providers, reducing the cost and resource allocation. So, by considering all these factors, substantially we can decide that cloud computing is a better option. Now we will see what is meant by cloud computing. Cloud computing refers to the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis. In simpler words, rather than managing the files and services on a local storage device, we can do the same over the internet in a cost-efficient manner. This cloud computing is mainly of two types, and the two types of models are: first one is the deployment model and the next one is the service model. Deployment model is again of three types, and they are public cloud, private cloud and hybrid cloud. Let us try to understand it with a very common example. Imagine that you are traveling to your work and we have three options to choose from. One is buses, which represent public cloud. In this case, the cloud infrastructure is available to the public over the internet, and these are owned by a cloud service provider. The second option is using our own mode of transport like a car or a motorcycle. This represents the private cloud. With the private cloud, the cloud infrastructure is exclusively operated by a single organization, and this can be managed by an organization or a third party. And finally, the last option is to hail a cab. This represents the hybrid cloud, which is a combination of the functionalities of both public as well as private cloud. So next we'll have a look at the service model. Again, there are three major models, that is IaaS, PaaS and SaaS, called IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Compared to an on-premise models where we need to manage and maintain every component including application data, virtualization and middleware. Cloud computing service models are hassle-free and IaaS refers to infrastructure as a service. It is a cloud service model where users get access to basic computing infrastructure. They are commonly used by IT administrators. If any organization requires resources like storage or virtual machine, IaaS is the best model where we only have to manage the data, runtime middleware applications and the OS, and the rest is handled by the cloud provider. Next we have PaaS, that is platform as a service. Cloud platform and runtime environments for developing, testing and managing the application. This service model enables users to deploy applications without the need to acquire, maintain and manage the related architecture. If any organization is in need of a platform for creating a software application, then PaaS is best suited because it requires only to handle the applications and the data. The rest of the components like runtime, middleware, OS, servers, storage and all others are handled by the cloud service providers. And finally we have SaaS, that is software as a service. SaaS involves cloud services for hosting and managing software applications. The software and hardware requirements are satisfied by the vendors, so we don't have to manage those aspects of the solution. We don't even have to worry about the hassles of owning any IT equipment. Then we can go with SaaS model. With SaaS, the cloud service provider handles all the components of the solution required by the organization. And some of the most popular cloud computing services in the market are AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. I hope you have understood the video. In this video, we studied about the difference between on-premise model and cloud computing. Next, we saw what is meant by cloud computing, and we also studied the two types of model, that is deployment model and its three types, as well as the service model and its three types. If you have any queries, drop a mail at communal@pincore.in or reach us on 9686 963065. To become volunteer member, drop down to below location. Thank you for watching and stay tuned till next session.